Welcome to the Tennessee Achieves Virtual Community Service webinar. These webinars are designed to provide you, Tennessee Promise students, with an opportunity to learn more about college success tips, careers in your potential field of study, and other topics we think you will find interesting while you are navigating your educational journey. These webinars will also help you complete your community service requirement while it may be difficult for you to do so at this time. A few housekeeping details before we get started. By logging in as a Tennessee Achieve student, we are able to track your attendance and how long you remain actively engaged during the webinar. Once you complete the webinar, you will automatically be given credit for 1 hour of community service. We will track how long you watch, and if you do not watch the webinar in its entirety, you will not receive credit. You do not need to complete the community service form for these webinars. Tennessee Achieves will log your hours for you. Tennessee Achieve staff and partners across the state are providing important insight and information we think you will find entertaining and informative. We hope you enjoy this new series of webinars.
Hello, and thank you for joining us for today's Tennessee Achieves Community Service webinar. My name is Tyler Ford, and I serve as Director of Mentors with Tennessee Achieves. We're excited to have you viewing today's webinar and to share with you a little bit about what it's going to look like to work with your Tennessee Achieves mentor in 2022. Really what we want to do today is share with you why mentors are so important, why we pair you with a mentor as part of your Tennessee Promise scholarship experience, and why it's important that you as the student really leverage that mentor and build this relationship over the course of the next year, because mentors are such a critical piece, not just of being a college student, but succeeding as a young professional and making your way into the professional world. So we're excited to jump in today and share with you some of these details. I'm joined today by two members of the Tennessee Achieves outreach team who are going to help to talk us through some of the mentoring program. If you want to introduce yourselves, go ahead.
Awesome. Well, my name is Ben Sterling. I serve as the Senior Director of Content here at Tennessee Achieves. Been on the team since 2014. Very excited to share some information about your Tennessee Achieves mentor. As a student in this program back in 2009, I can assure you, from my experience, the mentor is an incredible asset and something you should certainly be taking advantage of.
Yeah, I'm Graham Thomas. I'm our Deputy Director of Government Affairs and Community Partnerships and been a member of the Tennessee Achieves team for 12 years now. Before Tyler was on the team, I ran the mentor program for about a decade, and certainly I'm excited to speak to the importance and the role that a mentor plays. I do think that having a mentor with Tennessee Promise is your most valuable asset. It really is a person you can go to for advice, for answers, and just to bounce some ideas off of. So excited to talk a little bit more about the role that they will be playing with you this year.
Yeah, and Graham, you mentioned you were kind of here when the mentoring program started. Could you kind of get us started by sharing why the mentoring piece was brought into the Tennessee Achieves program from the beginning and why mentors were introduced to the program?
We created the mentoring program because we know that sometimes going to college is just challenging. It's hard. I always tell students that anyone that has ever been to college before will tell you that at some point in time, it just gets difficult. If you were a student like me, it was the math class. For other students, it's writing English papers. Other students will find that you have a hard time balancing your work, your full-time college schedule, your commitments at home, your extracurricular activities. And so we've given you a person that is a little older than you, that is further along in their careers, that has gone to college, that has managed a job or a family, and can help you with these things. And so your mentor is really there to do three things. First is to remind you of some of the important deadlines that are coming up. We know you're busy. And so we just want to make sure that those things aren't slipping by. Second thing they're there to do is be a resource for you. We know that sometimes you just don't know what the next step is in the process, or sometimes you get a letter from financial aid and you don't know what it means. And so you've got somebody that you can call, that you can text or email, that's going to help you find those solutions. And then finally, they're just there to go on this journey with you and be a support system. So they're going to reach out, they're going to encourage you, they're going to provide some advice and some guidance, maybe provide some career counseling and some opportunities there. But what we know is that sometimes it just gets difficult. And so you've got someone that is in your corner, kind of cheering you on and serving to provide you with that information that you may not have. You know, if no one in your family has ever been to college before, or maybe you don't know anyone that's been to college before, Tennessee Achieves and Tennessee Promise are now giving you someone that knows that process. And even for those of you that do have someone in your immediate support system that's been to college before, it's always good to have a new person or an outside kind of voice to coach you through this. I went to college. I went to the University of Tennessee. Both of my parents went to college. So statistically speaking, I was one of those students that should go to college and be successful, and it still is hard. There was a time my freshman year at UT that I really did think about walking away and moving back home. And so, I was fortunate to call my parents. They gave me a little pep talk and it worked out, but it would have been nice to have someone else to go to as well.
And can you share a little bit about who their mentor is? Is this someone from the college? Is this someone from the high school? Who can they expect to be working with as their mentor?
Yeah, we've got a really diverse population in our mentoring group. So we recruit 9,000 community members across the state of Tennessee. These are people that are active in your community. Like Tyler said, there may be a teacher at your high school or from the local school system. Your mentor may come from a college. About a third of our mentors come from business and industry. So a really good opportunity for you to learn more about their career path. We have some retirees that mentor with us. We have people from state and local government. They really come from all over the place. So you may be paired with a mentor who, let's say you want to go into finance and your mentor is a CFO of a company, and that's great. But you may also be paired with the CFO of a company and want to go into nursing. And while your mentor may not know a lot about nursing, they probably know someone that does. And so you got to look at all of this as an opportunity to connect and learn more about your potential field of study and just learn from their general expertise. Whether they went and studied exactly what you're going to go and study or not, they can still provide some insight and some tips and tricks and advice along the way.
I think one thing that's important to keep in mind as Graham shares some of the history of the Tennessee Achieves mentoring program is that since the beginning of this program in 2008, mentors have been a critical component of our work. And there's been a lot of changes in this program, but one thing that's remained really consistent is the mentoring program. And it's because it offers value for you as a student, it makes a difference for you as a student, and really the community engagement piece of this work can make a huge impact on your career as a post-secondary student. So we're excited to get you paired with a mentor here. Ben, can you share a little bit with us about why it's important that students leverage their mentor and how this connection can really benefit them in the long run?
Absolutely. I think I can speak to this from a couple of different perspectives. One of those being, like I mentioned, I was a student in this program who was a first-generation college student. My parents, while I was supported at home, there weren't a lot of conversations about going to college. They were supportive in other parts of my life, but they didn't really know the value of a college education. So through my time in high school, we just didn't really talk about it very often. So when I learned about Tennessee Achieves, applied for this program when I was in high school, I was paired with a mentor that brought the reality of college to me and normalized that. I was intimidated by the thoughts of college. All of the research that I had done prior to the time that I talked with a mentor about this experience, I had looked at financial aid websites and I'd reviewed how much it would cost to go to colleges that weren't in Tennessee. And all of that led me to this realization that I was intimidated by college. And so when I received this mentor, it really brought this idea of attending an institution in Tennessee that was in my backyard. And I was able to attend a community college where I attended and graduated from there with no student debt. And so I think one of the things that a mentor, the asset that it really brings to a student, to you, is this normalizing college and allowing them to help you make the decision in terms of where you're going to go to college. You might have this college in mind right now, but as time progresses through your senior year, your plan might change, and a mentor can really help you navigate those waters by helping you understand the different types of institutions that are available to you, whether that be a four-year institution, a community college, or a TCAT. I think it's just really important to talk to somebody about that. And your mentor is, in most cases, going to be able to track down the answer for you and get you a timely response. Again, but to kind of elaborate on what Graham was talking about as well, most of our mentors come from a specific career field, whether they are currently working in that environment now or they retired from a particular career field. They've got so much experience and expertise to share with you. They are volunteering with our program because they feel motivated to help students. And so I think the biggest piece of advice for me to a student about working with a mentor is to be proactive. Reach out to the mentor, engage with them, because you're only going to get from them what you're willing to receive. And that really requires you to be responsive to their communication and engage with them and ask questions. And when they offer advice, take that to heart. I think one of the things for me that was really valuable, and I can say from all of the mentoring relationships that I've had in my life, it led to this point in my career where they helped direct me into industries and into classes and programs of study in college and all of these different things that if I was left to my own, I don't know that I would have found this path. It's because of mentors that I got on the path to a future career. And I mean, what a great opportunity you have as a student to have somebody that is, you haven't even had to go out and find this person. They are placed in your life, and you have an opportunity here to learn from someone that's likely local. You may even know them. There's somebody in your community that is here to literally just provide you with encouragement and coach you through this process. So I could not recommend you being proactive in this relationship enough, because not only are they going to help you through this journey to college, but they're going to help you make those initial decisions about what to study in college and what kind of careers are available to you if you do study this specific thing or go to this specific college. Mentors provide so much support in that space. So I just think leveraging the mentor in the Tennessee Achieves experience, while it's been around for 12 years, it might be kind of a traditional part of our program. I think it might be a little bit underrated in terms of what kind of value it genuinely brings to a student's experience when done right. And for it to be done right, I think it requires the student to really engage, dig in, connect, to connect on Connect, right? But to really dig in and build a relationship with your mentor. I really strongly encourage you to do that. Last thing I'll say about this, and I'll pass it back over to Tyler, is if you feel intimidated or a little uneasy about making those initial steps and connecting with your mentor, reach out to our team and we can help facilitate that. We just want you to feel connected to your mentor in a way that's going to be meaningful, and so that you can really get something valuable out of this mentor relationship. But I'm going to kick it back over to Tyler.
And Ben touched on the idea of feeling intimidated or feeling overwhelmed by reaching out to your mentor. One thing we want you to know is you should not feel intimidated to connect with your mentor. This is someone in your community who has put up their hand and said they're willing to help you, and they want to make sure you're successful. Certainly be polite, be kind, be courteous when you're reaching out to your mentor, be professional, all of those things, but don't feel like you need to be intimidated. Your mentor likely knows what it is like to be in your shoes, to be a college student, to maybe be the first in their family to be going to college. So the more you share that sort of perspective with your mentor, the better off your relationship with them is going to be. So please reach out to us if you feel intimidated or if you feel like you need a little bit of help there, because we're happy to help with that. But don't feel like this needs to be some sort of scary or overwhelming relationship, because it certainly, absolutely is not. I want to just kind of share a little bit on what you can discuss with your mentor, some general conversation starters that I think are a great jumping off point when you're paired with them and as you start connecting with them. First and foremost, share with them about yourself, right? Give them some insight into who you are as a person. Your mentor certainly wants to help you navigate the college going process, figure out what career is best for you, but they can't do any of that if they don't know who you are as a person. So share with your mentor some of your hobbies, some of your interests, what activities you're engaged in at school. Maybe share with them what your favorite subject is, what your least favorite subject is. We know Graham doesn't like math, apparently. So give them that sort of insight, because these sort of things that just kind of connect us make those mentor-mentee relationships better. I'll tell you, we tell our mentors every single year in their training that the more they share with you, the better connected that relationship is going to be. And I'm going to say the same thing to you as a class of 2022 student. It really is on you to a certain degree to let them in a little bit, give them that insight so they can start building off of that as you connect in the spring, in the summer, and into the fall. I would also add that as we think about going to college, you should share with them what some of your goals are and what your motivation is for going to college. We all have and have had our own unique motivators for going to college, whether that's being the first in your family to go. Maybe that's working towards a specific career field, working towards a specific interest that you may have. Everyone has a motivating factor for going to college. And it's important that your mentor knows that factor for you. At Tennessee Achieves, we call that your why for going to college. So let your mentor know what that is, because they can use that as a great thing to follow up on later in your college career and say, do you still think this is accurate for you? Do you still think you're working towards this specific motivation? And give them that sort of insight so that, again, they know who you are as a person and they know what your motivating factor is for going to college. And I would also add that you want to let them know what your career interests are and what your sort of goals are for after college. At the end of the day, that's the whole purpose for going to college, right? It's earning a degree, earning a credential so that you can enter the workforce and find a career that you're really passionate about and really excited about. And Ben touched on this a little bit, but many of our mentors may be from a professional field that you're interested in, whether that's business, healthcare, education. We've got mentors from all sorts of career fields. When you share that career interest with your mentor, you're better suited to build a connected relationship and to set yourself up for success in your major and in your career field later on. So give them that insight. And they may find too that when you share your career interest, they can help direct you to something that's even better suited for you. Because again, these are professionals who have been out there in the real world doing this work and may have some insight that can really, truly benefit you as a student as you enter the workforce. Finally, I would add, we encourage you to share with your mentor some of the concerns you may have as a college student, some of the things you may be a little bit nervous about. Everyone has these things, right? For me, it was, am I going to be good enough at studying to do well on tests, right? I always struggled when studying for tests in high school. I'm sure Graham and Ben have these sort of things as well that they were nervous about as they started their college careers. Let your mentor know what those things are as you build that relationship, because they can help to plug you into resources on campus, people on campus that can support you in navigating those obstacles. Everyone has these sort of obstacles. Everyone has these sort of concerns, but your mentor can't help you with those things if they don't know what they are. And I certainly don't want to make it seem like you should only share with your mentor when you've got concerns, when you've got obstacles. Share with them when you encounter wins too. If you get a good score on a test, if you get your college registration done, whatever those little things are, let your mentor know, because they want to celebrate those moments too. And they want to see you succeed as a college student, because that's why they got into this volunteer role. That's why they're giving their time, to see you succeed as a student. We're going to be sharing with you in Tennessee Achieves Connect and via email some other things you can talk with your mentor about throughout the year. So make sure you're checking your email so you know what you can follow up with your mentor on and what it's really timely to be talking with them about, because we want to help you throughout the year have a connected, continuous relationship with your mentor. Ben, Graham, do you have anything to add in this space in terms of what mentors and students can talk about?
Yeah, I'd like to add, just to reiterate real quickly, just that these mentors are, again, I think Tyler used the phrase, they raise their hand in your community to volunteer. And what that says to me is that they are eager to work with you and they really want to hear from you. So the more that you can share, the more that you can help build the profile of you so that they can understand your interests, the things that you like and the things that you don't like, the kind of hobbies that you have, the type of clubs and sports that you may be involved in. It helps them understand the things that motivate you. And when your mentor can understand your motivations, they can much more easily and effectively connect you with different types of career fields or programs of study, or even the institution. I think there's just a lot to be said for the more you share, the more effective that your mentor can be for you.
Yeah, I mean, Ben and Tyler both said they're volunteers. They're here to make sure that you're successful, and know that they've also gone through a process with us. So they've been trained on the Tennessee Promise requirements. They've been trained on the Tennessee Achieves program. While we've gone out across your community and across the state to find them, not only have they volunteered, they've also taken the next step to go through a training. They've gone through an entire process with us. And so they are someone that you can absolutely feel comfortable with. They're going to give you good information. They, just like you, they have access to our staff. So when they have questions, they are calling Tyler, Ben, and myself, and we're helping them as well. So you got all kinds of layers of support here. And while they are volunteers in your community, they have gone through some training and such so that they are in a place where you can feel really confident in the information that they're providing to you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a really important point to make, Graham. The mentors have the same access to our team that you do. So if they feel like they need a little bit of extra help, they can reach out to us just like you can. We want to make sure that they're giving you good information, that you've got what you need to be successful as a student. So that's a really excellent point to make. We've talked a lot about connecting with your mentor and building this relationship so far, but I think one of the first things and one of the most important things we need to talk about in order to build that relationship is a first meeting with your mentor. When are you going to first connect with them? We're really excited this year to be kind of stepping back into an in-person mentor-student meeting space. This year, we're going to offer 3 meeting formats in the spring and mid-March through April, where you and your mentor can gather together and quite simply get to know one another. Your mentor, you can expect to start hearing from them in late February. They'll start reaching out to you. And then come mid-March, early March, maybe even, you'll start having a meeting with them and you'll get to know them for about 20 or 30 minutes, having a conversation and getting to know one another. We do have, like I said, 3 meetings options this year. And I want to take a few minutes now to walk through those meeting options so you can understand which one your mentor may be choosing and when you can expect to be meeting with them. The first that I want to share about is the independent meeting option. Now, Ben, do you want to share a little bit with us about what that independent meeting format looks like?
Yeah, absolutely. Of course. I think the independent meeting is about the most simple of all of our meeting options. It's just simply the mentor and the student agreeing on a time and place and coming together to get to know each other and set some early goals for the college experience. I think this meeting format, while simple, does require a very solid line of communication between the student and the mentor. So I would encourage you that if your mentor reaches out and they're hoping to meet with you somewhere locally, if you it would be like a McDonald's or a Starbucks or a pizza restaurant or something like that locally in your community, if they reach out, or public library, something like that, that you communicate back with them and confirm. I think one of the biggest pieces when we hear from mentors in the past when they've tried to have these types of meetings is they really want the student to be communicative, but especially confirming their attendance. So yes, I will be there at that time. That gives the mentor the confidence to know that when they go, that somebody's going to meet them there. And it's the same for you. You would hope that when you get there, that the mentor is going to meet you there. So absolutely confirm your attendance with your mentor. Also follow up if your plans change. If you decide that you can't make it because something happens or transportation doesn't work out, just make sure that you're letting your mentor know. Do everything that you can to make it to the meeting when you've especially agreed to a time and place with your mentor. But if something was to happen, you need to let them know that too, so that they're not just driving to a location to not meet with someone. So while this is the simplest meeting format, I do think that it requires sort of the most back and forth between the student and the mentor to ensure that everyone's on the same page and that you're going to be meeting in the same location. We've let the mentors know from our end that this is to occur at a public location. So you'll be meeting at, like I said, a coffee shop or a restaurant or something like that in your community. And the mentor may be asking you to meet individually. They may be asking to meet as a group. So this, again, is a little bit of a flexible option for you and your mentor to meet. But the biggest thing that I just absolutely want to drive home here is that you need to be very communicative if your mentor is hoping to meet this way so that everybody's on the same page with the details. That's about all I have to say about the independent meeting. Seems like a really simple, easy way to get it done, though.
It's like meeting a friend for coffee or something, right? Your mentor is going to email you, text you in late February, and they're going to say, hey, I want to get together at this place in the community. Just let them know you're going to be there. That's going to be the theme with all 3 of these meeting formats that we're going to discuss. Communication and confirmation with your mentor is absolutely critical. Graham, one of the other meeting formats that we're, I think, all really excited about is the open house style. Can you share a little bit about what that's going to look like for students and mentors?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things I don't think that we mentioned so far is that your mentor is mentoring a group of students at your high school. So you're not the only one. And Ben mentioned that in his comments just a minute ago, that it may be in a group setting. So you may go and sit down with some of your fellow classmates when you meet with your mentor. Our open house style meeting is something that is brand new to us, and it's something that we're really excited about. I think it's going to be a really great opportunity for you to do a couple of things. 1, meet your mentor, like we've already talked about, and 2, get some additional information from both the Tennessee Achieves staff and the college that you may be interested in attending. So what we have designed for you in these open house settings is we have tried to identify a college campus in your county. Not every county has a college campus, so some of these may be at your high school. But we have essentially blocked off a couple of hours where you can come, sit down with your mentor, get to know them. Our staff will be there to answer questions, as well as the college staff will be there to answer questions. They can check where you are in the application process. They can check where you are in the financial aid process. We've got a lot of resources for you in one centralized location. So if we blocked off, let's say the hours of 4 to 6 p.m. in your community, you and your mentor set the time that you want to come and meet. Maybe it's 4:30, maybe it's 5:30. You don't have to go for the full 2 hours. You go, you sit down with your mentor again, maybe individually, maybe in a group setting, get to know them. And then there's going to be presentations that are optional from both Tennessee Achieves and the college. You can sit down with the college representative and find out exactly where you are in the process. But this is going to kind of become a one-stop shop for everything that you need to get ready to start your fall semester. Everything, outside of probably creating your college schedule, but I bet you'll be able to schedule an advising appointment while you're there. So it's really going to be a great opportunity for you to sit down, meet your mentor, learn about them while they learn about you, and do all the things that we've already talked about, while also checking your status with your college. Like Ben said, like Tyler said, the biggest piece of this is going to be communication with your mentor. Your mentors are going to reach out to you. Tyler's going to talk about our third option here in just a second and say, hey, I want to go meet you at the local library, or hey, I really want to meet you at this open house, or hey, let's talk on Connect like Tyler's about to talk about. No matter which option they choose, the biggest key to all of this is communicating with them that wherever they're asking, either yes, I will be there and I'm excited to meet you at 5 o'clock at blank location, either independently or at an open house, or hey, I can't meet that night. I have a basketball game or a softball game or a church thing or whatever it is that may be going on, so that you guys can find a time to connect. But this open house option really provides you with a couple of extra benefits that you're not going to get if you do go meet at the local library, or if you're talking online with your mentor. You have extra resources, extra people you can go to find out exactly where you are in the process and exactly what you need to do next.
Like Graham mentioned, we do have a third meeting option, and that's essentially a virtual video meeting with your mentor. Tennessee Achieves Connect is a platform that you've likely been on at this stage. This is what the platform you visited to complete your 2022 mandatory webinar. So you've likely visited Connect, activated your account, and you've started to familiarize yourself with this system. It's something that we've had for about 1 year now, and we're really excited to continue working with it in the class of 2022. It offers a ton of value, not just in meeting with your mentor, but in being a Tennessee Achieves student generally. The most important thing you need to know, though, in terms of having a virtual video meeting with your mentor on Tennessee Achieves Connect is that, again, communication is going to be key. Your mentor is going to reach out to you in March or late February and say, hey, I want to do a Connect meeting with you. What that's going to look like is they'll send you a couple times through the platform. You're going to get an email from Tennessee Achieves Connect that says, hey, your mentor has said they're willing to work on this date at this time or this date at this time. All you have to do as a student is pick one of those times to confirm a meeting with your mentor. From there, the platform has a video chat function where you can just click, open a video chat, and start connecting with your mentor at the chosen time and date. It really is fairly simple. This is going to be pretty similar to a Zoom meeting that you might do for class. This is going to be really similar to other video chat tools you have used in the past. The biggest difference is you're going to be working with your Tennessee Achieves mentor and having a conversation about what it looks like to work together over the coming 7 or 8 months and what it looks like to be a college freshman starting in the fall. So at the end of this video, I'm actually going to share a little bit of a tutorial on how to actually schedule those meetings and how you'll get that confirmed with your mentor. But again, communication is key with this meeting. And I would also just add for all of these meeting formats that we're going to be sharing content in advance, some information with your mentor in advance that they can work with you on during this meeting. So they'll come into this session, whether it's an open house, whether it's independent or virtual, with an idea of some goals and really targeted action items that you can talk about and work towards in that meeting. So you don't feel like you're going into it unprepared or totally unfamiliar with what you need to be talking about as a student. Like I said at the beginning here, we are really, really excited to be offering all three of these options in 2022. Virtual video meetings worked great last year, but there's certainly no replacement in a lot of cases, I think, for a face-to-face connection around a table. So whether your mentor wants to do independent or open house, we're going to work to support them. We're going to work to support you and make sure you have everything you need to have an effective and successful initial connection with your mentor. Ben, Graham, anything to add on this subject before we share a few closing thoughts on kind of communication expectations?
I don't think so.
Oh, I'm good.
Great. One final thing I'll add is that when we pair you with a mentor, we're actually going to send you an email letting you know who your mentor is, and we're going to include what meeting format they have preferenced. So you'll actually get an email from Tennessee Achieves in late February letting you know generally when or what sort of meeting format your mentor is planning to participate in. So we'll try to give you a sense of what you can expect in March as soon as that pairing is made. Like I said, I do want to share a little bit with you about expectations just for communicating with your mentor and working with them throughout the year. Graham, can you share a little bit with us about how often should a student be communicating with their mentor?
Yeah, one of the things I don't think we have explained very well so far on this webinar is that we told you that your mentor is going to reach out to you in late February or early March. That could look like a variety of things. They're going to get your contact information. So they'll have your email, they'll have your phone number, they might text you, they might call you, or they might email you. They may also message you through Connect, which will then prompt a text message and an email for you. So be on the lookout for them there. So they're going to reach out to you late February, early March, and then we're asking that you guys connect at least once every 2 weeks. So like Tyler talked about earlier, there's a lot of different things that you can be reaching out and talking to them about, but any questions, any concerns, your successes, I think that's a big one that, our students reach out to their mentors and say, hey, I'm really concerned about my upcoming math test. And then the mentor knows the math test is on Thursday and they don't ever hear anything from the student again. Like, let them know, hey, that math test I was so worried about, I made an A, I made a B, like I passed, I'm doing great. But we would really like for you and your mentor to be communicating once every 2 weeks. Now, how you go about doing that is going to be between you and your mentor. Some of our mentors and students tend to text every couple of weeks just to check in, or maybe you send your mentor a text that's a question and it's easier for them to then respond with a phone call rather than type out, a 3-page text message, right? And maybe the same thing for you. They send you a text, ask you a question, and it's just easier sometimes to pick up the phone and call. But you can text with them, you can email with them, you can call them, you can video chat with them and connect. If you do go and meet your mentor in person, either independently or at an open house, you can still use the video feature on Connect. So if you really like that face-to-face kind of interaction, that's a thing you can continue to do. You can do several of these meeting options. You don't have to just choose one. Connect is going to be there for everyone. But I think most importantly is that we're going to ask the mentor to reach out once to you every couple of weeks, respond. Even if they are reaching out to you with a reminder about something that maybe you've already done, if you respond back and just say like, hey, I already did that. Hey, I already applied to college. Hey, I already registered for classes. Hey, I've already submitted my 8 hours of community service. Always tell students this. If you let them know that you've done that thing, they're going to stop reminding you to do that thing, right? So you will not get the same message over and over again from your mentor once you let them know you've done that. But respond. Sometimes it can be simple. A simple thank you oftentimes goes a long way. So be on a lookout for messages from them once every 2 weeks, but be proactive. Reach out to them in between them. Let them know how things are going.
And I would say too, if your mentor reaches out to you and now's not a great time to talk, right? You're at work, you're at school, you're tied up doing other things, and you just can't really communicate with them in that moment. Let them know and say, hey, can I follow up with you later tonight? Can I follow up with you this weekend? I'd love to catch up and share with you kind of where I'm at in the process. Because I think a lot of times, and this applies to me, I know I get busy during the day. People reach out and I may forget to respond. It's a human nature. It happens. But you don't want to leave your mentor hanging, and you don't want them to feel like you just don't care or aren't thinking about communicating with them. If they reach out, shoot them a response. And like I said, if it's not a great time to be communicating with them, just let them know, because again, it probably won't be a big issue if you reach out to them later that evening, if you reach out to them over the weekend, but just letting them know and communicating that to them can be a great way to keep that relationship moving and to make sure that you guys continue to connect throughout the year. I think one important thing to keep in mind when you work with your mentor too, is that being courteous and being polite is critical. Again, they have volunteered their time to support you. They just want to see you succeed. Please never be rude or never be, too blunt with your mentor, because they do just want to help, and being kind and courteous and polite to them goes a long way. So always keep that in mind in your communication with your mentor. Ben, do you have anything to add in terms of communicating with your mentor and just kind of best practices there?
Yeah, I'm just sitting here thinking about some cases, throughout the last 8 years where I've heard from students and they're like, oh, there was a person on the other end of those messages. That your mentor's a human. Well, that's kind of seems like a strange thing to say, but the mentor on the other end of that line is someone that is hoping to hear back from you. They're taking time to review our email, review our material that we've provided for them, to help them help you. And so that when they're connecting with you, they're attempting to reach out. They are there literally just trying to make sure that this process is working well for you. If the process is going well for you, like Tyler said, say everything's great, and your mentor is going to be like, thumbs up, right? That's awesome. We are so glad to hear that. If things aren't great and they're checking in on you, tell them that so that they can get you the answers to their questions. I often tell students when I'm presenting to them, a question is oftentimes like a snowball rolling down a hill. If you let that question go, the longer it rolls and the longer it waits, the more things it picks up and the bigger and harder to stop it becomes. And so that little question that you might have had early on in the process that you just procrastinated or thought wasn't important might have larger implications on down the road. So I would always encourage you, if you ever have a question about Tennessee Achieves, Tennessee Promise, or your enrollment in college, just ask your mentor. And if they don't know the answer, they're going to ask us. That's why Graham, Tyler, and I are here, to help your mentor help you. So you can trust that the information that they're going to provide you is accurate. They're going to be responsive to you. They're here to help you. And so just remember that the other person on the other end of that line is a human, and they're here to help you, and they're available to you. Take advantage of it. I was asked to elaborate on leveraging the mentor, and that's what it's all about, is that you just need to take the time to do that.
I would say too, you brought up the idea of trust. Never, ever feel like your mentor is going to judge you for asking a question. Every college question in the college going space is a good question. There are a lot of confusing points throughout this journey that you're going to find. We're here to help, and your mentor is here to help. And no one in this space is going to judge you for asking a question. They just want to help, and they just want to make sure that you are in a good spot. So that's an excellent point, Ben.
Yeah. I mean, my mentor didn't judge me when I didn't realize I had to apply to college. So when I was going to college, I thought that when I applied for Tennessee Achieves, that was the end all be all. I thought, all right, I've applied to Tennessee Achieves. I'll show up next fall, ready to go, just like high school. I was led down the right path by my mentor, which led to a FAFSA and a college application and all of the things. So if I wasn't judged for not knowing that, your mentor is not going to judge you. I promise you. We've heard every question that you can ask, because it's confusing and it is intimidating. And that's the whole reason, Graham talked about this at first. The whole reason the mentor is there is because if this was easy and it wasn't intimidating and it was easy to figure out, then everyone would be doing it. But because we know it can be super intimidating and confusing, we have someone planted in your space to help you do that. So take advantage of it.
Yeah, it's absolutely something you can do. It's within reach. The mentor is just there to kind of ease that transition and to make it
Agreed.
a little bit less stressful for you as the student. So I want to thank both Ben and Grant for joining us for this conversation today. Talking about mentoring, talking about this relationship is one of my favorite pieces of this job. So thank you guys for joining us. I'm going to share a little bit with you now about Tennessee Achieves Connected, about this platform that's going to be so critical to talking with your mentor over the next year. But Ben, Graham, thank you so much for joining us for this session.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been fun.
Definitely. Thanks, guys. Good luck.
As promised, I'm now going to take some time to share with you the Tennessee Achieves Connect platform and how it's going to impact your experience, not just working with your mentor, but being a Tennessee Achieves student generally over the course of the next year. This is a platform that is now in its second year, and we've had a ton of success in terms of students getting on the platform, getting to interact with their mentor, and getting to interact with the Tennessee Achieves program as a whole. So I want to share with you today a few pointers, a few tips that you can leverage over the course of the next year to make sure that your Connect profile, your Connect account is up to date, it's accurate, and you're always able to use it as a tool for connecting with your Tennessee Achieves mentor. And one of the first things that I really want to share with you is what's called My Profile on the Connect platform. What your profile allows you to do, and I think this truly is important, is share with your mentor. We always find that mentors and students who share with one another about their professional experience, about their hobbies and their interests are really just tremendously successful. And what your profile allows you to do is add in a picture, add in a little biography about yourself, add in some professional and education history, and then add in as well some hobbies and interests and things like this that your mentor can use as a jumping off point for your conversation. I should also add that Tennessee Achieves will be adding information to your profile all the time. And what I mean by that is we're going to add in how many community service hours you've earned, whether or not our records show that you've registered for classes and things like this. So I would encourage you to visit your profile frequently and make sure that early on in your mentor-mentee relationship, you take time to build out a complete Connect profile, because when you have on there an introduction, when you have a picture on there, when you've got some of your work history on there, it makes it so much more likely that you're going to have a really positive experience interacting with their mentor, and they're going to be able to find ways to help you and help you maybe, plug in job shadowing opportunities, whatever it may be. Your profile can really enhance that experience. I should add too that your mentor has a profile as well. So you can visit their profile once you're paired with them in early March and check out what their experience is, check out where they went to college, check out where they've worked, because it may offer you insight into your mentor's background and how they can help you navigate your college going plans or your career interests. So profiles truly are a critical piece of this platform's really functionality and utility for you as a student. But I think truly one of the most important things that you have at your disposal on the Connect platform is what's called My Connections. And I'll show you a little bit of what this is now. My Connections really truly is where the bulk of the functionality of the Connect platform lives for you as a student. This is where we're going to encourage you to check frequently. What I would recommend is that you check your connections page on Tennessee Achieves Connect at least once or twice a week, because your mentor will likely be reaching out to you here. You can reach out to the Tennessee Achieves staff using this page. It really can be a one-stop shop for all of the communication that you may need with your mentor or our program. This is going to be really, really familiar for you as a student. It looks a lot like a Facebook Messenger tool, Instagram messaging, things like this. You can simply click your mentor's name. When you log in early March, you're going to see that your mentor is listed here for you. You can just click their name and send them a message. So I'll send my mentor a message right now, just saying, hey, I'm really looking forward to working with you. I'm going to hit send. One of the cool things about Connect is that when you hit send in the platform on a message, your mentor will receive an email notification as well as a text notification that you've reached out to them, making it really easy to ensure your mentor is getting your message, and vice versa. When your mentor responds, you'll get an email and text notification as well. So messaging is really simple and straightforward. But there's a couple other really cool functionalities that I wanted to share with you here. One of these is goals. When you are paired with your mentor, you're going to find that a series of goals will populate on the right-hand side of your screen. And what that means is you can always know that when you're talking to your mentor, kind of where you stand in the process and what you've completed and what you haven't. I would encourage you to use this as a guide. Check these things off as you go through them. Make sure they're marked completed. And when you talk to your mentor, talk about those goals that you still have yet to complete so they can support you in getting those goals done. These goals will be based off of action items and checklist items that are available in your Tennessee Achieves handbook. So you can know that it really is informed by the program. It's informed by your deadlines and the things you need to do to stay Tennessee Promise eligible and to register and enroll in classes in the spring. I would add too that you can take notes. So if you're talking to your mentor and they say something that's interesting, they say something that you may want to follow up on later, you can take a note on that. And you can also share files with them. This is great if you want to send your mentor your class schedule. Maybe you want to send them their resume, your resume, excuse me. Sharing files is something you can certainly do on the platform and just makes it easier to communicate with your mentor. One really critical piece of functionality, though, is the ability to schedule meetings, particularly if your mentor prefers to meet virtually with you this spring. You're going to need to make sure that you're reviewing your scheduled meetings and selecting a time that works well for you and your mentor. But let's say later on in the summer, maybe in the fall, you want to take the initiative and schedule some time with your mentor. You can do that pretty easily simply by opening this schedule meeting button, this blue button, and selecting a couple times and dates that work well for you. Let's say you're available in the next few weeks on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. You can simply select video call, and then you can choose a 30-minute meeting and select as many times that work for you. So you can propose multiple times. It'll send an email to your mentor, and it'll let them select when they're available to meet with you and confirm a time, and really an easy and straightforward process. So again, the ability to schedule meetings really is a critical and great tool that this platform offers you as a student. So let's say you've scheduled a meeting with your mentor, and now it's time to talk with them. Video chatting is, again, a great component that this platform offers. And for you, the student, and for your mentor, it's really, really convenient in that you don't need to download anything new onto your computer, and you don't need to log in anywhere new. All you do is click this button and a video chat window is going to open right there for you. It really is that simple to get a video chat going with your mentor. Of course, I would encourage you, if you'd like to video chat with your mentor, that you schedule that in advance so they know to expect that call and they can get prepared to help you and provide you the guidance that you need in that moment. But video chatting allows you to stay connected and in conversation with your mentor in a way that really we haven't been able to offer in the past. So certainly a great functionality that you can leverage in your time as a Tennessee Achieves student. All of the tools on Connect, whether it's our resources, whether it's the discussion boards, whether it's your profile, can enhance your experience as a Tennessee Achieves student. And I would encourage you to check the platform frequently because, as you can see here, your fellow students and mentors are always posting new conversation topics, and Tennessee Achieves is always adding new resources to support you in your time as a new college student. Really, this is a one-stop shop for what you may need as a student and for what you may need to connect as a Tennessee Achieves mentor with your Tennessee Achieves mentor, So please leverage this platform often and get to building a profile and getting prepared to connect with your mentor here in early March, because it is a great opportunity to connect with them and stay in touch throughout your time in this program and as a college student. I really want to thank you for participating in today's webinar. We hope you've enjoyed the opportunity to learn more about mentors and to learn more about Tennessee Achieves Connect. Again, it really is something where the mentor can be so valuable to you, not just in navigating the college going process, but in navigating your life after college and in navigating what career and professional path is best for you. Just know that they are there to help you, and your responsiveness and your engagement over the coming months is going to be such a difference maker, not only for the mentor, but for you as well as the student, because they really are just there to help you and support you along the way. Please know that if you ever need anything from the Tennessee Achieves team, you can reach out to us and we'll be happy to help. But I would encourage you to reach out to your mentor first when you've got those questions, when you've got those concerns, because they want to help. They want you to be supported, and they want to make sure that you're on the right track in the college going process. Thank you again for joining us for today's webinar. As a reminder, you do not need to submit this hour of community service to our team. You will be automatically credited after having hit submit at the bottom of this webinar. So thank you again for participating in this webinar, and we hope you have a great day.
Thank you for watching this installment of the Tennessee Achieves Virtual Community Service webinar. Your attendance will be automatically recorded and your 1 hour of community service is being credited to you. Please click Submit on this screen to ensure that your attendance is recorded for you. For this community service opportunity, you will not need to complete the community service form. We hope you found this opportunity to be engaging and informative. Please watch more of this series by visiting www.tnachieves.org. We hope you have a great day. Thank you.